Good morning, everybody. Jim Feist and Hank Goldberg out here in rainy Las Vegas. Good morning, Hank.
Hey, Jim. How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's crazy time. You and I are kind of self-quarantining to a degree. I know I am.
I don't think we're self-quarantining. We're still going out. I'm going to a grocery store and I'm going to restaurants. I just staying away from crowds like they tell me to do, and also I'm washing my hands a lot and doing what they tell me.
Yeah, I was sort of joking, but I'm not going to crowds either. And there was a problem at my health club where there was a warning, so I'm not going there right now either. So, like you said, we're just being careful. We're not really quarantined, but it's kind of a joke. Hank, there's a lot going on out there. We got college basketball pro, we got baseball coming up, but the big thing and I know you've really been involved most of your life in horse racing. I didn't know if you wanted to talk about it or not, but you said you did. So,
Why not?
Well, it's a
I didn't do anything.
No, I know, but a lot of times people want to say
it's not a touchy subject. I mean, it happened, and I'll tell you, I have feelings about it. Navarro, here was a guy who 5 years ago never heard of nobody ever heard of him. He comes on the scene, and everything he sends out at Monmouth is winning. If he had two horses in a race, they were running 1-2. And he was claiming horses, and all of a sudden they were improving drastically. He had a horse, XY, who was a real freak, who was setting records in sprint, went to Dubai and won a race. And the incredible part about it was that they issued physicals for these horses before the races, and he passed. And Service, who organized this whole ring where they were giving these horses PEDs, and he had veterinarians involved and all kinds of people involved in the racing industry, management. But these horses were being issued tests before their races and passing. So they were coming up with a chemical method of outsmarting the tracks and passing the tests before races. And it's very similar to what's happening in college basketball with the scandals there, where these guys were getting away with it, and it took the feds to expose it. And this took the feds and some wiretaps to catch these guys. And what does that tell you about the sport? It makes you wonder now who else is getting away with it, because they do test before races. I mean, this horse, Maximum Security, he passed the test before the Kentucky Derby. And it's kind of ironic that he got taken down because he cut a horse off in the race, but he was running illegally. And this has been going on for a long time. These guys probably going to go to jail. I always was suspicious of Navarro because of how he just burst on the scene and was winning with everything in New Jersey and New York and in Florida. And sure enough, he's done. And he's probably going to go away for a while, and he'll never be on the racetrack again. This is not the first time that there's been a major scandal in horse racing. You can go back to the early 60s, the Buddy Jacobson, who was doping horses. He was a great trainer. He had Bobby Frankel and Nick Zito as assistants. So they weren't involved in the doping, but they were assistants to him. And Nick will tell you what a great trainer Buddy Jacobson was. He wound up murdering his next door neighbor over a love triangle, and he went to jail for murder. But he was missing for a long time because he was running from the police. But he turned out to be a major doper in horse racing in this sport. He was the leading trainer in New York, and the sport survived. But this is different in a way in that these are top trainers, and you're wondering, it's not going to stop people from betting any more than the college basketball scandal is stopping people, but it's going to bring out the purists, and they're going to start writing like Christine Brennan and USA Today, calling for the sport to be banned. It's not going to happen. What needs to happen is there's a bill that's sitting on the desk of this, I don't want to get too political, but the Senate guy,
Mitch McConnell,
about 200. Pardon me?
Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, Mitch McConnell's got it. It's one of about 200 bills that he won't act on because Churchill Downs, which is Kentucky, where Mitch McConnell is from, would suffer from this. But it's a government-controlled act to anti-drug to do away with the drugs in horse racing. And it's sitting on his desk, and it has been for a while. And the good guys in the sport want to see it passed. It was sent to him a long time ago. And he's I'm sure, in the pockets of Churchill Downs and won't do anything with it. Just one, I don't want to get into Mitch McConnell, but I will say that Churchill Downs is probably preventing him by payoffs to signing that bill, which would help. And it should have been done a long time ago.
Wow.
It might have stopped this whole business.
Wow.
That's all I have to say about it. I mean,
well, I knew you would know a lot and have an opinion. What are you going to say? I mean, we have so many problems society-wise. Now we got games without fans. We got tournaments being canceled. We got all kinds of things being canceled. The MGM properties out here yesterday announced they're closing buffets in 7 of their hotels beginning on Sunday. This is we got a serious time. There's an old proverb, may you live in interesting times, and we certainly are. Unfortunately, greed and corruption have happened in society for thousands of years, and it continues, and it's unfortunate. Nothing you do probably will never stop. You just have to control it and punish the ones that do it. But Hank, we've got a big card of college basketball today, and I know you've been doing very well for the most part. And
it's another huge day on Monday.
I know you did great. You did great. Any of the games today going on or tomorrow going on you want to talk about?
Oh, yeah. The next couple of days are going to be very active. Like Thursday, for example, I have to work, and you got Seton Hall is going to be playing against, I think, Marquette that day. West Virginia, Oklahoma will be playing on Thursday. UCLA will play the winner of one of the Big 12 games. You got West Virginia, and he'll be playing. They get a bye in the first round. Baylor and Villanova also have first-round byes. So those are Thursday games. But today and tomorrow, you've got Pac-12 starting with Utah Cal is playing Stanford. That's a big rivalry game to start with. And the ACC gets going. North Carolina, who had a big win yesterday, and they're playing very well at the right time. And they play Syracuse. That'll be a good game. Big Ten gets going with Minnesota and Northwestern and Indiana and Nebraska. Nebraska's terrible. Yeah, those are kind of play-in games, basically. And then the Big East, St. John's will be playing Georgetown. And Georgia's playing Mississippi in the SEC. I'll give you game. George Washington is playing. I think they're playing.
They're playing Fordham.
The school in
Fordham.
Fordham's awful. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah, Fordham's won 8 games on the season, but George Washington 12. That's a lot of people wouldn't even look at that game, but you're right. Fordham is awful. That Stanford, California game you mentioned, that is a huge rivalry between those two schools. Stanford opened a 10-point favorite, and it's 9.5, 10. It hasn't moved very much. That's a big number between those two clubs, but California's been really bad. Stanford's got 20 wins. It's it's going to be a heck of a day. It's already going. I mean, I think Weber is playing. Who the hell are they playing? First game on the card today. They're starting right now. Sacramento State. They start in 20 minutes. That's the first game.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Gonzaga, San Francisco gave Gonzaga a game. We had them on our service. We had the dog in that game. That was a hell of a game. And St. Mary's was pretty tired after the way they won Monday night, and they really didn't. They gave Gonzaga a game for a while, but Gonzaga just blew them out later. So they had a good tournament here.
I mean, the Zags are a serious contender to win it all. They're good. They're really strong.
Yep. And there was some NBA activity, I guess, that's worth talking about, and that is the Clippers. They crushed Golden State last night after they lost to the Lakers.
Yeah, I think they were pissed.
They came back strong. And I tell you, I looked at a game last night in the NBA, which I don't often do. But Minnesota's had a look-ahead situation, and they were playing Houston. Houston hasn't been playing all that well. And Houston won, but Minnesota covered a very big number. But Minnesota, I think, is going to L.A. next, or Houston is, rather. And so Minnesota played them tough. Those are situations you have to look at a little bit in the NBA right now.
Yeah,
who may be playing without crowds.
Yeah, what do you think of the effect of playing games without crowds?
I don't think it'll be that big a deal.
Well, I guess it remains to be seen. I really don't have an opinion because I've never seen it done before. So,
well, it never has been. But you still have the travel element, and teams on the road playing back-to-backs, that sort of thing. So there'll still be a home court advantage for a lot of these games.
That's true. All right. Well. Like I said, we have some big games today, and then tomorrow we get the teams that have byes that they're going to be jumping into the mix, and it's going to be a great week. XFL again this weekend. Any comments on how that league has been progressing or regressing, whatever?
It's not. They're scoring now. You know, they all the games were going under the total. Now they're all going over the total.
You're starting to get some chemistry and flow in their games and picking up. Usually defenses have an advantage in the beginning anyway. All right, Hank. A lot going on in our world. A lot going on in everybody's world right now.
I mean, you think anybody's going to be watching the U.S. The XFL this weekend with the tournaments going on?
No, I don't think.
So you talk about playing before nobody.
It was a very bad scheduling issue for them to go up against March Madness. That was not smart.
Well, it was smart to start right away.
That's true.
Because people were still looking for. I don't know about that. You know, they were going to have to start sometime, and starting right after the NFL finished, I thought was a good idea because people were still hungry for football. And so they introduced it at the right time.
Speaking of hungry for football, what do you think is going to happen with the extra game in the NFL? Is it going to happen?
I think they'll probably play one more game. The owners wanted them to play two more. I don't think that's going to happen. And they have to, decide on roster changes. It's interesting that Green Bay didn't go along with their quarterback, and they didn't vote.
Really? Wow. Well, Aaron is, he speaks his mind. He has his own mind, and sometimes people agree with him, sometimes they don't. Like most.
Well, he was representing his team on the preliminary vote, and he was the guy who the other teams followed suit to barely decide, among the executive committee of the Players Association to go proceed with this. And then when they get into the the full body of Players Association of player reps and Players Association, the Packers didn't show for the vote.
Very interesting. The any news on quarterbacks? Anybody going anywhere or signing anywhere?
There's all kinds of rumors around. I think Tennessee is getting ready to re-sign Tannehill and keep him. There's nobody. Charlie Weiss, who's close to Brady, the old assistant coach, he got a text message from Brady, and after he got it, they asked Charlie, and he said he doesn't know what Brady's going to do, and Brady didn't tell him. Brady hasn't told anybody, and Charlie Weiss said anybody who says they know what Brady's going to do is not right, because Brady hasn't released his thoughts to anybody. I don't know I do know this. The Al Michaels to ESPN is not happening.
Oh.
So NBC wouldn't let Al out of his deal. And so he and Peyton Manning will not be going to NBC.
Wow.
But there will be a change in the Monday night telecast.
Wow. That is big news. How old is Al now?
75.
No thoughts about retiring?
He has 2 years left on his contract with NBC.
Well, lots of changes. Anything else you want to talk about, Hank? Or we want to get to the games? There's already games playing.
Yeah, I didn't give you enough.
You gave me a lot.
I wish you were my boss at ESPN, who gives me 2 minutes on Thursday. I could use more time.
Well, no, you have a lot to say, and you know a lot, so I like to just pick your brain. If you want to keep going, you can keep going. We got like 24 minutes every time we do this. We're up to 18 right now. So, but I know you're busy, and you got a full week ahead of you, and we both have a lot to do. So, I'll talk to you again on Friday.
Yeah, thankfully we got to just stay out of harm's way, and the guys our age, and hopefully we'll come through this. They have now issued. They're in the process of issuing 1 million testing devices, so that'll help a little bit. I got to hand it to these doctors who they brought in to work with Pence. They're doing what they can do, since they were behind.
Well, the more testing devices, the more cases we're going to find that we have that we don't know now because we can't test. It's some very interesting things going on out there politically, a lot of rumors about what's going on. There's conspiracy theories. I mean, who knows what the hell's true? All I know is there's people sick and there's people dying, and the economy's getting roasted. We got to figure it out, and we got to correct it. We got to, if we can. People are going to stores and they're buying everything they can possibly buy because they don't know how long this is going to be. There's a lot of panic out there. It's probably not good to panic, but it is good to prepare. So there's a fine line there.
Well said.
All right, Hank, have a good one. We'll talk Friday. Good luck.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Bye-bye. All right, everybody, try to be safe. Wash your hands. Stay out of crowds. I froze my gym membership the other day because, and you're in an age group where you catch this, you're not going to recover as fast, and we don't have enough medical equipment in the country to protect everybody that's over, say, 65 or 70. So just be careful. I don't know what the hell the answer is, but I think the best advice is be careful. And enjoy the games. Let's win some money. And we'll talk to you soon.